So in November 2021, I had my best ever month on Etsy, making an incredible 24,668 Great British Pounds, or 30,788 US dollars. And in this video, I'm going to talk you through my entire strategy for Etsy to show you exactly how I did it. So what's up guys, it's Alfie here. So I've been an Etsy seller for almost 2 years now, and I've grown my shop to over 5,000 sales in this time. But before we dive into my Etsy strategy that made this possible, I just want to clarify something. $30,000 is not a typical month for me by any means. I just want to use this video as a means to show you what's actually possible on Etsy. So honestly, if you're a beginner Etsy seller and you're not making those sort of sales figures, then please don't be disheartened, because what I'm about to show you is the best of the best, and in reality it's not always like that, because as you know, owning a business is just a journey and everybody is at different stages of that journey. So anyway, I want to get straight into this video, and this is my Etsy strategy that allowed me to make $30,000 in 1 month. And I've broken my strategy into 5 main areas that I like to focus most of my time on. And starting with the first area of my strategy, and this is because I like to put a huge emphasis on my audiences. So did you know that on Etsy, 80% of shoppers that use the platform are searching for gifts? And then out of all of the products that people sell on Etsy, the home and living category is marked right at the top in terms of sales. So this is even ahead of really popular niches like jewelry. So I mean, just by looking at these stats, by selling products that can be purchased as gifts and also in the home and living category, then together this combines to make the largest possible target audience on Etsy as a platform. So luckily enough, this is exactly where my products fit in. So if you didn't know, my own Etsy store, I sell Japanese tableware. So of course this fits into the homeware section. And then with my packaging, I always like to go the extra mile to ensure that my products can also be purchased as very unique Japanese gifts. So I really do try and make a conscious effort to take my packaging to a level that's really high spec, so it really allows my products to stand out and to be purchased as gifts for that gifted audience. So, you know, I do this by selling my chopsticks in linen gift bags, and also my whiskey glasses I like to sell in wooden gift boxes. But you know, whatever it is, whatever the product may be, I've always tried to make a conscious effort to hit the gifted market, as well as whatever the personal niche is for the product I'm trying to sell. So yeah, I really think hitting the largest audiences on Etsy was a big factor in my personal success. And now I know that's not something that all of you guys can replicate with your products if you've already got your store set up, but I do still think that no matter what you're selling, if you package it right and you really give good presentation, I think you can also hit the gifted market that I know maybe a lot of sellers aren't hitting currently. So yeah, that's just one bit of learning advice I would give to you guys. But anyway, moving on to the second main part of my strategy, and I can't stress how important this is, but I put a huge emphasis on the quality of my photography. So look, it's no secret that Etsy is a very visual platform, and photography, in my opinion, is top of the tree for importance. Much more so than your other selling platforms like Google or eBay or Amazon, for example. So I really do personally think a lot of the success I've had on Etsy is because I put so much emphasis on my photography. And it honestly amazes me how some people out there selling on Etsy still don't realize how important photography is to get in that first click and then for your product to actually convert. So look, I want you to take these 2 images, for example. Both are very similar leather journal products. However, I absolutely guarantee that way more people are going to be clicking on image A when compared to image B, resulting in a lot more sales for that product. And just another little tip here that I've personally done is I've always focused on blurring the background in my product images. And if you look back through my videos, I've probably mentioned this in some way or another in like every single video I've made. But that honestly just goes to show what an important little tip I think it is. But yeah, I really think just by implementing this, it's helped my products, especially the thumbnail images, get a lot more clicks, because in my opinion, it's just the easiest way to make your product pop out from the screen and to really make it stand out on, as you know, an incredibly saturated and busy Etsy homepage. And because of the importance I've always placed on photography, once I started getting a decent bit of sales coming in, I decided to invest a lot of my profits into actually hiring a professional photographer. And at the time, it was an investment that I was really umming and ahhing about whether I should make it or not, because I don't know what it is in other countries, but the daily cost for a photographer in the UK set me back 600 English pounds, or around 750 US dollars. But to be fair, looking back at it now, one of the best investments I've ever made, honestly. When I got the pictures come through and I saw the quality, and then I uploaded them to Etsy, my click-through rate and my conversion rate skyrocketed, and for me, this was the biggest turning point in my whole Etsy journey. See, I honestly think if I could just give you one tip for skyrocketing your Etsy listings, improve your photography. Top of the tree for me. So yeah, moving on to the third reason that allowed me to get this 30k month was a good understanding of the seasonality cycle. So the seasonality cycle on Etsy goes something like this. The start of the year is pretty slow, which is then followed by a boost of sales in the summer. It then slows up again until you get a massive amount of sales in the Christmas months of October, November, and December. And I mean, just personally, this last period alone in the lead up to Christmas makes up around 70% of my total yearly revenue. And that's pretty crazy to think of, to be honest. So yeah, I think you can see just from these stats that it's no surprise my best ever month on Etsy was in November. So just one thing that I've always done, and I recommend you to do as well, is to always prioritize getting your shop set up perfectly and ready for these Christmas months. So for example, in the lead up to Christmas, I always ensure that I order extra stock in to make sure that there's no chance of me, or that there's no risk of me selling out of stock before the Christmas period hits. And because if you look back through your stats, I'm sure you'll see the same, conversion rates in the months leading up to Christmas are generally a lot higher than the rest of the year. So another thing I like to do is also invest a lot more money into Etsy ads during this time than what I normally do. So just for reference, throughout the rest of the year, I'd normally invest around £5 a day on Etsy ads, whereas in the lead up to Christmas, sometimes for the busiest months of like November, I'll even invest up to £20 a day on advertising. And also generally during this period, I also like to spend a bit more personally on getting faster postage for people, because something I've noticed customers look for a lot more in the lead up to Christmas is fast postage. So if you can get your items out within 24 or 48 hours, I think it's just gonna really improve your conversion rates during this time. So yeah, that's just something that I've always personally focused on as well, and it seemed to work pretty well. But yeah, I really think anything that you can do personally to maximize your conversion rates and to maximize your sales in these busy periods is just gonna be such a big boost for you. And like I said, about 70% of the revenue is made during these months for me personally. I don't know what it is for you, but yeah, I'd recommend hit these months hard because they're the best months on Etsy to earn your profit. But yeah, moving on to the fourth reason now, and this is because I utilized something I like to call seasonal SEO practices. So of course, throughout the year, I always ensure that all of my products are set up as best as I possibly can for SEO in general. And if you want to know what my best general tips are and best general advice is for SEO, then I'll leave a link to a video I did on this in the top right hand corner now. That's going to talk you through exactly how to set up your listings for conversions with great SEO scoring. But to get my best ever sales month of 30k, I utilized something a little different, and I like to call it seasonal SEO. And this is basically just where I really fine tune my SEO practices for the specific season I'm trying to sell in. So an example of this, I sell whiskey glasses year round. However, during the Christmas, I like to include keywords in my product tags and the title that specifically target Christmas or Xmas. So for example, I'd incorporate some keywords like Christmas whiskey, Xmas whiskey, Xmas gift for him, Christmas present for dad. You know, I'll include a lot of those sort of keywords in my listings during that time to try and hit the gifting market during Christmas. And then yeah, in general, I like to apply this seasonal SEO tactic for whatever season it is throughout the year. And this could be for holidays such as like Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day, for example. So yeah, because I've really made a conscious effort to target Christmas shoppers at Christmas with my gifts, then I really think this is another reason why I had such high conversion rates and such high sales volumes during these busy Christmas months. So moving on to the fifth strategy I used to have such great sales volumes in November, and this was to focus on increasing my average order value. So for those of you who don't know, average order value is basically just the revenue received for a certain amount of orders over a certain amount of time. So for example, if you made 2 orders and one order was sold for $10 and one order was sold for $20, then your average order value for these 2 orders would be $15. So that's just $30 total revenue divided by your 2 orders. So when I say increase in AOV, average order value, basically what I mean is just increasing the amount of money that each customer is going to spend with me. So, you know, instead of somebody coming along and buying like 1 pair of chopsticks for $10, for example, I kind of want them to buy 2 pairs for $15. But yeah, the best way that I found to increase my average order value was to start grouping my items into sets. So rather than selling items individually, is to sell them in like bundles. When I first started on Etsy, I made massive mistakes in this area and I tried to sell everything individually. So I would sell a ramen bowl on its own. I'd sell a spoon on its own. I'd sell a set of chopsticks on its own. And what I saw happening was customers would literally just come and just buy 1 item. And my average order value was, to be honest, pretty low considering the products I was selling. But as soon as I started considering average order value, it gave me a great idea. And this was to start bundling my ramen products into ramen sets. So then all of a sudden, I started selling a ramen bowl, a ramen spoon, a set of chopsticks, and a chopstick rest, all as one 4-piece set. And funnily enough, these 4-piece sets ended up being some of my best-selling products. And then all of a sudden, you're taking your average order for something as little as like $9 for 1 spoon. Suddenly somebody's buying a set with an average order of more like $40, which, yeah, as I said, massive game changer for me. I'd absolutely recommend if you're selling individual items, whether it be physical or digital, yeah, just try and group them into sets and sell them as bundles. And now I just want to make a general comment here. Selling 30K's worth of product in 1 month on Etsy is something that I'm personally incredibly proud of, but it did not come easy. And you know, the reality is sometimes I've been literally pulling my hair out with how frustrating Etsy and owning a business can be, pulling all-nighters, sometimes working way harder than what I should be. And then even with all of that hard work, sometimes you'll still get bad months on Etsy. The same as literally anybody who owns a business does. So I know a lot of other YouTubers don't do this, but just to really balance it out, and so I don't want to give you any false hope, I'm also going to pop up now some of my worst months on Etsy. So some of my more average months that I have on Etsy. Just to show you that, yeah, 30K a month on Etsy would be absolutely incredible. And if I was making 30K on Etsy every single month, I'd probably have myself a little water bungalow in the Maldives or something that I'd be chilling at every single day. But yeah, it's not reality, it's just an exceptional period for me. And yeah, you know what it's like on YouTube. Everybody likes to only show you the wins. Nobody likes to talk too much about the losses. So yeah, literally, I just want to say to you, whatever position or whatever point you are in your Etsy store journey, I just want to say, keep pushing, because if you just keep going, good things will happen. Things will suddenly just click into place. And I'm absolutely sure that if you keep going, you will achieve great success. So yeah, if you find any value in what I'm saying, please don't be afraid to subscribe. I appreciate all of you watching so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.